Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hey Guys. So, we're still sewing. Who knew? So, last time we made this pouch that is going to go inside of our bag. We did these seams with the sewing machine and we turned it inside out. And now we got to do something about these other seams so that they don't come unraveled. This is a perfect opportunity to do some hand sewing. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top edge. Remember, we left about a 1/2 inch exposed, or we didn't sew it up along the seam. I'm going to keep that fold right there on the end, and then I'm going to fold this over towards the inside. All right, now I would recommend at this point maybe taking an iron, running an iron over it. That'll kind of help hold it down. But because I don't have an iron, we don't have the iron set up yet, I'm just going to go ahead and pin that little fold over and then just pull my pins out when the time comes. So typically when you pin, and I didn't really go over this the last time, you're going to take a pin, holding the little yellow ball in. The little yellow ball is kind of nice because it helps you kind of keep track of what you got. Now, since we're hand sewing, we'll have lots of opportunities because it's not that fast to reposition things if we need to. But we're going to poke it through so that we're going through both pieces of material, and then we're going to come back through the other way so that our pin kind of looks like that. All right, now we're set to go. We're going to take our needle, and again, I'm using dark thread on this so that it's clearer for you to see what I'm doing. I'm going to take about 18 to 24 inches of thread, which is probably a bit more than I actually need for this job, but we'll see. Let's just stick with that. And then I'm going to cut the thread. Now, it's good to cut the thread, not to tear it, not to pull and snap the thread. And as much as you can, try to cut it at an angle. If you cut it at an angle, it'll give you kind of a little point. Now, I've been doing this since I was pretty young, and I always just take my fingers and get them wet and kind of wet the end of the thread. That usually helps get all the thread, all the hairs in the thread all in a line. And then I'm just gonna feed that through that eye, that hole in the needle. Now these needles are nice, they've got nice big eyes. And then I'm gonna put my two ends together. And I'm gonna tie a knot using both pieces of thread to tie that knot. Right, now sometimes I might even double that knot up. It's kind of tricky to make sure that knot ends up right on top of the other knot, but if you can do it, do it. Because then it's even less likely, yeah, I did it. Did a pretty good job of it. Then it's less likely to pull all the way through your fabric. Now, I can trim off my little excess threads. Be sure you leave a little bit of thread there because don't try to cut right up next to the knot or you might just cut the knot off. All right, then I'm gonna stretch out my thread so that I'm basically sewing with 2 threads at a time. Now this stitch is what we call a whip stitch. We're gonna go in from the back to start with. We're gonna go over the top and then back in from the back. All right, so I'm gonna start on this end. I'm gonna make sure that everything's all folded over nice and neat. And I'm gonna come in. You wanna be careful you don't come through the fabric and poke yourself. Now, everything is going to be based on where you put that first thread. So, because we wanna try to keep these all nice and even. So I'm looking at my spacing here and my spacing here as I pull that first stitch through. I'm gonna go all the way through till the knot hits the back of the hole. Now I'm not gonna pull real hard because I probably could pull it right through. But as I go, it will get tighter. It'll be able to be tighter and tighter because it will be going through so many different times. Now, the critical thing here is taking your time and getting your stitches all even and in a line. All right, so now I'm getting to the end of my thread. I want to make sure that my thread, as I pull this together, is coming over the top. So I want that to come over the top, just like that. Now it should start to look, so we want to try to keep our stitches even. Now don't go long stitching on it. Don't go jumping from one end to the other end, so that you only have like 2 or 3 stitches. The more stitches you get put in there, the stronger it's going to be and the better it's going to look. Try each time, if you're not getting, if it's not poking through where it's even, both horizontally and vertically, back up and go again. Now it's probably not going to be perfect, you're hand sewing it, but do the best you can to line those all up, right? So you can see that my stitches are looking pretty good, pretty consistent. And I'm going to just keep working it down, right? So that one, I kind of got my threads a little cross. I'm going to use the needle to kind of help it, move it over a little bit, kind of get back underneath that, pull that up a little bit so I get a little slack in my thread. That way I can kind of push it over, even it back up. And yeah, not too bad. So just gonna keep going all the way down the line, right? When you get to the end of either the thread or the end of the seam, you're gonna snip off enough that you have on the inside. So you're gonna bring it around to the inside. So what I would do is on that last, when you get down to the end, is maybe just do a little stitch like this where you're not really going through both pieces, so that you bring it over as a way to finish it off. And I'm just going to do this here right now just to show you what I mean. So I bring that around like that. Now I would cut the string, cut the thread long enough, or maybe I only have a little bit left. I just cut it so it's 2 pieces. Take the 2 pieces, tie it in a knot, trim off the excess so that it kind of goes away. All right, we can do the same thing along these sides. To do that, I would give it a second fold and give it kind of a roll, right? So that we can then go along and do the same thing. Again, you're going to be using thread that matches the fabric, so it's not going to be so prominent like this. I used the black thread, the dark thread, so that you could see what I was doing. So now you get kind of an idea. Take your time, go slow. You got, probably it'll take you 20 or 30 minutes if you take your time and go across nice and easy. Maybe it'll take you 50 minutes. That's okay. The nicer you do that, the nicer it'll look, the better your bag's gonna be. All right, I know this is just a pocket on the inside, but you know what? Details, details, details. All right, guys, thanks for watching this episode of Hey Guys. I'm gonna say it's like 462. And don't forget, like and subscribe. Thanks again.